Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Zenith Elite Captain Power Reserve. You can see this 40mm rose gold automatic power reserve timepiece from Zenith and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Zenith Elite Captain Power Reserve. Now, the watch on my wrist is an incredibly valuable, an incredibly versatile piece. Now, when I say valuable, I don't mean it costs a fortune. I mean it gives you a lot of the same experience, pedigree, true heritage, and undeniable style that you get when you purchase something like a gold Rolex Cellini or a Vacheron Constantin Patrimony or an Audemars Piguet Jules Audemars timepiece, because this watch has that kind of background. As a Zenith, it comes from perhaps the manufacturer, up there with the likes of Jaeger-LeCoultre, Patek Philippe, and from a capability standpoint, it stands alongside Lange. It stands alongside what Audemars Piguet is in the modern era. An underrated fan favorite, though. You're going to get this watch for a lot less than you'd spend for some of the others. And while the finish isn't quite Holy Trinity level, I think you'll agree that the watch looks the business, and quite frankly, I think it punches above its weight. Now, 40mm in rose gold, not including the crown. The watch is also slim, thanks to the Elite, which is a slim caliber in all its iterations, 9.1mm thick with a generously sloped conical gold bezel. This watch wears even thinner than that, and it will slide underneath any dress cuff. Now, it's 47mm from lug to lug, which means it's versatile. I think you can wear this watch, in my estimation, compared to my 16cm wrist. I think you could go as small as 14, maybe even 13.5 centimeters in circumference with an oval wrist profile and still wear this one well. You can see the lugs are relatively short and they turn down rather dramatically, so the fit is excellent for those slight of forearm. The strap pulls straight down. Again, good news for those who need a tight fit. The strap is also substantial. Dark brown alligator leather, rectangular scale, monotone stitch with deep sheer sides. It actually has a rubberized insert on the underside to separate the wrist from the leather, isolating the leather from the oils, heat, and moisture of the wrist for long-wearing durability. The rubber is also very smooth and supple against the wrist. The pin buckle nicely recapitulates the form of the lugs. Parallelism in design is always a nice thing. It's beautiful, simple, and Zenith branded. It makes for easy adjustments on the fly. The case is slim, sensuous, and features a handsome combination of case band lines. You can see the junction of the bezel in the mid case, the junction of the case back, the mid case, and there's even a little bit of a step in the transition from bezel to lugs, and you can see that on both sides. It's a very small uptick in the flare of the body of the lug, and it's very handsome. You'll also note that there's a robust faceted shoulder to the lugs, an intermediate plane between the case band and the lug hood, and then the lug hoods themselves are nicely set and finished with a brushed grain pattern. The bezel is all of high polish and the dial is maximized. Now, the dial is metallic silver, but it's not a sunburst. It's a matte grain, and it features abundant texture. Starting outboard, you can see there's a gorgeous railroad style minutes track with small inset stylized Roman numerals, and then there are faceted and diamond polished rose gold covered indices hand applied throughout the circumference with rose gold and polished Dauphine style hands with center splines for greater definition and contrast at center. Blue, and you can see they are alpha style hands for sub-seconds as well as the power reserve. I may as well get some reserve de marche action going here and wind the watch so you can see. With a 50 to 52 hour power reserve, it has solidly more than the 38 to 42 that's the automatic watch standard for the industry. And you'll also note that there's a good deal of texture and plane to this dial, as there's a slight step to the inner disc. There's a nice inset etched pattern with a metallic overlay for the power reserve scale, a miniature railroad scale for the sub-seconds, and then there's an aperture for the date window at 6 o'clock to ease the visual transition from the plane of the dial down to the date disc. Discrete rose gold Zenith star and marquee at 12 o'clock. I like this watch because it's not printed like a dictionary or encyclopedia or almanac. So many modern watches feature so much extraneous text. There is a small swatch of reserve de marche, but it's so small that if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't see it. So I applaud Zenith for design restraint here. Now you turn the watch over and you can see the Zenith Elite Caliber 685 in-house automatic 50 to 52 hour power reserve. It also features, if I can make the most of my diminished nails, hacking seconds, so you can halt the seconds hand and synchronize to a reference time. Plus, it has a feature every modern caliper should have, and the inexplicable absence of bidirectional quickset dates throughout the industry has me asking, why is it just a handful of watches from Ulysse Nardin and Zenith? This should be universal. You'll also note that the movement is nicely decorated. Now, I compared it to Holy Trinity and Fairly August manufacturers at the beginning of this video, and I will admit the finish is handsome but mostly machine assisted, executed by artisans using industrial equipment. It is not finished to the level of an Audemars Piguet or a Patek Philippe, but the engineering and the functional finish, things like the pivots of staves, the leaves of pinions, the teeth of wheels, that's where the finish is as good as anything in the industry, and you'll see that it's a bounty that comes forth in the form of chronometric precision, which should be as good as a chronometer from this caliper. Hale, hardy, automatic, and one of the few good-looking automatic calipers that actually has something to see. At the very least, you can see impressive levels of machine-applied finishing with the linear Côte de Genève on the winding rotor, circular Côte de Genève on the bridges, and then a tight, even engine-turned perlage, which is done by hand, assisted by a machine across the base plate. No, you're not going to pay Holy Trinity prices for this watch, and that's part of its strength, because you're getting mechanical engineering tradition from Zenith that's on par with those others, taking a step back in movement finish but giving up nothing in case and dial design. This is a watch that looks and feels like a timepiece 2 to 3 times its price, and again with Zenith there's no second guessing the parentage or the pedigree. This is not a brand born yesterday, nor will it be one gone tomorrow. You can see and you can own this collectible classic on our website.